Polychroniou. Noam, you have said that the rise of Donald Trump is largely due to the breakdown of American society. What exactly do you mean by this? Noam Chomsky. The state corporate programs of the past 35 or so years have had devastating effects on the majority of the population, with stagnation, decline, and sharply enhanced inequality being the most direct outcomes. This has created fear and has left people feeling isolated, helpless, victims of powerful forces they can neither understand nor influence. The breakdown is not caused by economic laws. They are policies, a kind of class war initiated by the rich and powerful against the working population and the poor. This is what defines the neoliberalism period, not only in the United States, but in Europe and elsewhere. Trump is appealing to those who sense and experience the breakdown of American society, to deep feelings of anger, fear, frustration, hopelessness, probably among sectors of the population that are seeing an increase in mortality, something unheard of apart from war. Polychroniou. Class warfare remains as vicious and one-sided as ever. Neoliberal governance over the last 30 years, regardless if there was a Republican or a Democratic administration in place, has intensified immensely the processes of exploitation and induced ever larger gaps between haves and have-nots in American society. Moreover, I don't see neoliberal class politics being on retreat, in spite of the opportunities that opened up because of the last financial crisis and by having a centrist Democrat in the White House. Noam Chomsky. The business classes, which largely run the country, are highly class-conscious. It is not a distortion to describe them as vulgar Marxists with values and commitments reversed. It was not until 30 years ago that the head of the most powerful union recognized and criticized the one-sided class war that is relentlessly waged by the business world. It has succeeded in achieving the results you describe. However, neoliberal policies are in shambles. They have come to harm the most powerful and privileged, who only partially accepted them for themselves in the first place. So they cannot be sustained. It is rather striking to observe that the policies that the rich and powerful adopt for themselves are the precise opposite of those they dictate to the weak and poor. Thus, when Indonesia has a deep financial crisis, the instructions from the U.S. Treasury Department, via the International Monetary Fund, IMF, are to pay off the debt to the West, to raise interest rates and thus slow the economy, to privatize, so that Western corporations can buy up their assets, and the rest of the neoliberal dogma. For ourselves, the policies are to forget about debt, to reduce interest rates to zero, to nationalize, but not to use the word, and to pour public funds into the pockets of the financial institutions and so on. It is also striking that the dramatic contrast passes unnoticed, along with the fact that this conforms to the record of the economic history of the past several centuries, a primary reason for the separation of the first and third worlds. Class politics is so far only marginally under attack. The Obama administration has avoided even minimal steps to end and reverse the attack on unions. Obama has even indirectly indicated his support for this attack in interesting ways. It is worth recalling that his first trip to show his solidarity with working people, called the middle class in U.S. rhetoric, was to the Caterpillar plant in Illinois. He went there in defiance of pleas by church and human rights organizations because of Caterpillar's grotesque role in the Israeli-occupied territories, where it is a prime instrument in devastating the land and villages of the wrong people.